What is going on to you Geminis out there? Hope y'all are having a great day. So look, there's a link in the comment section below called the Linktree link. Click on it. It will redirect you to a website which has all the ways for you to financially support the channel, so I can most definitely keep the show going. Shout outs to all the people that has come through. Right, shout outs to y'all. I just really want to go ahead and say thank you. Really appreciate it. What else? Yeah, let's begin. So for you Geminis, you have the Ten of Cups, the Star, and the King of Cups. So these three cards right here represent you Geminis still willing to put in the effort. Oh, by the way, this video is going to be a little bit longer than normal, because the second half of this video is actually the Why I Love Gemini video. So peep that out too. That's what I'm trying to say. Watch it to the end if you can, please and thank you. So like it is that I was talking about, the Ten of Cups and the Star card. You Geminis still willing to put in the effort and get to know other people, but you're just wiser now, pretty much. You know, you have more of an understanding as to what it is that you Geminis really want, as opposed to being confused and people playing with your head. You remember when you was young and you didn't necessarily, you wasn't able to articulate what love was or have even an understanding of what love was. You had no clue, but it was something that you felt automatically whenever it is that you were around this particular person. But now a lot of you Geminis are able to actually articulate what it is that you're trying to say. And because of that fact that you're able to articulate it, you're able to understand it more, because you're able to listen to your self-talk. And once you're able to listen to what it is that you have to say, it's starting to click. It's starting to make sense for you, right? So the Star card represents knowing a little bit more about even your own self to be able to understand what exactly is going on with you. And the King of Cups now is about how, and since that's the case, a lot of you Geminis are moving forward the way that a king or a queen would. And what I mean by that is you're moving you're moving with self-respect. You know, you're moving with self-respect. You're not necessarily looking for a person for you to be a burden with, right? You never was, but I'm saying, like, you're trying to make it so that when you come in with a lot of contributions to a relationship, the way that a king or a queen would. And it's not about being a burden to another person, right? It's about inspiring the other person, because that's what it is. It's about two people inspiring each other and doing better for each other and for themselves, right? That's what a relationship is. And the thing is, or I should say, a part of it. And that's what it is that a lot of you Geminis really want to do. Y'all don't want to come in and have somebody make it seem like, you know, you Geminis are out here not doing squat. You know, you don't even want people, even if they are running game, you don't want them to even run that type of game on you, right? So you want to be able to come in and do a lot. That'll make it look like they are telling a lie. That'll make it obvious that they're lying, because it's the truth. It will make it obvious that they are lying. If you show up and you do so much to the point where you coming on in and you know what I mean? You providing so much, or you bringing so much to the table. Now it's like the other person has to, let me be more accurate. You providing so much to the table without catching horrors or without feeling a certain kind of way. The other person has no choice but to step their game up and want to do better for themselves. And that's where a lot of people end up doing horrible in. People end up doing horrible because they are on, everyone is on a different level, you know. Everyone is growing at their own pace. That's why it is that I don't condone anybody over here bashing another person because, you trying to compare yourself to a celebrity or, people coming in and talking trash about my community. I'm not even tolerating that. That's an automatic block because we all have our own pace. I'm not going to clown or try to humiliate. I'm not even going to try to humiliate anybody for where their level is. I said that a million times. I don't play when it comes to that. I'm not interested in that. That's not what I'm about over here. That's not what any of us should be about over here on this channel. Clowning people and making people feel terrible because of their skin tone, whatever, frivolous things, job description. We're not doing that over here. We're here to learn. So if you're not interested in learning, this is not the YouTube channel for you, because that's what we are about. We are about accountability, learning, and doing better for ourselves. Truly doing better for ourselves. None of this intellectual dishonesty over here. But the point that I'm trying to make here is when you can give, right, and give on a healthy level where you can give without having to bash the person, but you're letting the person know that you want them to step their game up as well, okay, without bashing the person or whatever the case may be. If the person is still contributing to the relationship, but they are actually grinding and they're on their way, then be patient with those people. And this is what I mean when I say, if you Geminis show up and y'all give without bashing the person, because you see the person is grinding and striving to do just as great as you are and see how far they could go, right? That person who really wants to do better will do better. They will start grinding. They will be inspired. But that's what it is I'm talking about. That's how two people elevate in a relationship. A person, everyone has their own levels. So a person may contribute more. They may be on par with one another, right? But then they still are inspired to grow anyway because of the fact that they want to contribute. And contributing actually releases feel-good chemicals, aka dopamine and endorphins. I don't know if people knew that or not, into the body. We're literally built to be selfish, but we're also built to be kind and generous. That's pure science. That doesn't have anything to do with, being curry favor or any of that type of stuff. So then you have the Six of Wands and the Emperor. So for you Geminis, right, these cards right here are about how y'all are most definitely willing to show a person and open up more of who you are, like show them more of who you are, right? But it had, like I said before, it has to be the correct one. It has to be someone that you and this person have similar values to where the two of you can actually go well together, like peanut butter and chocolate, or peanut butter and jelly, or peanut butter and banana. A lot of peanut butter combinations, I know. The Eight of Swords and the Lovers. Now the Lovers represents Gemini in the major arcana. So the Eight of Swords and the Lovers represents, like you spent a long time you spent a long time taking care of yourself externally, but not internally, right? Actually going after the things that you really want for a very long time. And a lot of you Geminis now are starting to figure even more of yourselves out. And that's the secret, Gemini. You never stop learning about yourself, ever. A lot of y'all would think that y'all learned enough about yourself, then y'all go on a break. That's part of the reason why a lot of Geminis will be emotionally distraught or emotionally damaged sometimes. It's because a lot of y'all get to a certain point in self-discovery, right, and self-realization, and then a lot of y'all stop. And then y'all only will do that every couple of months or to years, you know what I mean? And that's the thing that has y'all jammed up That's part of the secret. I don't know if y'all knew that, but that's part of why certain things will happen to you. It's because the messed up stuff will happen to you in your life to specifically get you, which is really your higher self. But your higher self will throw things at you down here physically like this to get you to admit certain elements about yourself for you to be able to discover yourself even more. So it'll come off like it's a very rough time and all of that, because it's to get you to understand what is really important to you, because now you have to trade one thing for another. Do you really want your family members? Do you really love your family members? Or is it that you just make it seem like you really don't rock with them? Do you love your family members, but you may have to cut them off because they're not really trying to actually do anything with themselves? But you may still love your family members deeply, though. What is it? And your own higher self or life will throw certain curveballs at you, right? Specifically to get the lower self, which is your physical you, your consciousness here like this, to choose, which creates another set of events. So a lot of you realize this now, but the Chariot now represents on this quest of self-discovery and trying to figure out who you are. You Geminis have to also understand to not let other people just come into your life, or you don't let other people come into your life without finding out a little bit about them. And the Judgment represents be judgmental, because those people are judgmental of you. They're sizing you up. Some of them, they're sizing you up. If they're playing games, they're sizing you up to see if you're an easy lick, if you're an easy target. So you should definitely size up other people and pay attention to how they are moving. Like it is that I said before, pay attention to see if those are the type of people that come into your life that you actually share values with, internal values, And then you have the King of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles is about how, because if you do not know how to judge it the correct way, you're gonna have a lot of people who will come into your life trying to take advantage of a lot of, sweet talkers and stuff like this. They know how to say sweet nothings in your ear. So let's clarify the Emperor. Hope y'all are having a great day, Gemini. So you have the Page of Swords, the Six of Cups, the World, the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Pentacles. A lot of A cards. So the Page of Swords and the Six of Cups represents, once again, you have some exes trying to really come back and see what's up with you. They want to find out what's going on, right? So you may hear from them within now, I want to say, and within the next couple of days to about a week, maybe even longer. I don't necessarily do the time frame type stuff. But I know when the Six of Cups shows up like it does right here, I know that person is right around the corner. Because every time I got the Six of Cups, it usually meant that you and someone that you're familiar with, started hanging out or whatnot, or you hear from them again. The World and the Eight of Cups, right, represents you, Geminis, ultimately, regardless of whether they come back, you have to gatekeep or safeguard your own happiness and your own consciousness. Don't allow other people to just step on in and stuff like this. Really gatekeep that stuff. Seriously. And I just see a lot of you Geminis will be happier anyway, because it's one less problem that you have to deal with, one less person, in your way, and you don't have to worry about who the person is and go through that time where you're getting to know them from scratch. This person, that you can't trust them from the first time around. And the Eight of Pentacles represents you Geminis. You have so much to offer. A lot of you are seeking what you can bring to the table. And a lot of you Geminis are starting to be able to actually answer that question. But the Eight of Pentacles represents you're also willing to bring even more to the table. So it's a very beautiful time for a lot of you Geminis. Let's clarify the Lovers. You have the Seven of Swords, Two of Wands, King of Wands, Lovers, and then you have the King of Swords to clarify the Lovers. So like it is, as I said before, the Seven of Wands and the Seven of Swords and the Two of Wands, is about how, you know, a lot of you Geminis have had to deal with, like I said, a lot of swindlers, a lot of the cap, a lot of people who, you know, again, a lot of the cap, a lot of messed up situations. It doesn't even necessarily have to be, you know, specific people. It could be messed up situations, circumstances, you know, that you Geminis probably thinking to yourselves, well, why you? You know what I mean? Why is it that these people or this circumstance out of everybody in the world has picked you? And the reason for that is because Gemini deals with shallowness, right? And all of these problems, part of it is to teach you that it's okay to be upset. And it's okay to actually be doom and gloom sometimes. And to actually articulate it, to actually express that. Because if you didn't have these difficulties, no disrespect, but a lot of you Geminis would be shallow. You would solve every problem with the laughter. Only do research into certain things. Don't really go too far. All of these difficulties is to get you to a point where you get a mixture of both. You still know how to lighten the mood with jokes and sarcasm and being witty and very intelligent and stuff like this, and, you know, attractive. But at the same time, you also know how to get deep when it comes to being deep in doom and gloom and learning how to talk from the mind and the heart, able to do that type of stuff too. The King of Wands and the Moon represents, you know, so, I mean, if it's people, you don't have to associate yourself with them. But if it is circumstances, solve those circumstances. If those circumstances are necessary points in your life for you to grow. If they're not necessary and you can cut those circumstances off and let them go, then yeah, let them go. King of Swords. Don't hold on to any excess baggage. Think about what it is that you want to bring with you in life. Are these learning lessons? Or are these people and circumstances that you can afford to do without? If you can afford to do without it, then do without it. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video, smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, set that notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos. Happy Saturday. What's going on to you Geminis out there? So this is a quick, or I should say a long video on why it is that I love Geminis. Now, Johnny Depp is someone that I'm just using as my example of a Gemini, considering that Johnny Depp is actually a Gemini, all right? So basically, and Dior Sauvage, I never actually had Dior Sauvage, but I always wanted to try the cologne. Dior Sauvage, reach out to me, you know what I mean? Send it to me, you know. But I'm getting y'all free clicks, free eyes, free views on this. But anyway, I love Geminis because of the fact that Geminis understand what a Virgo would need. And it's quite ironic because Geminis are cold like Virgos, right? I'm a Virgo myself. And this is just my iteration as to why I love Geminis. I love Geminis because not only do you understand Virgo, but you are ruled by Mercury yourselves. So y'all understand why a Virgo has to be cold from your own experiences. How it is that a lot of you Geminis, right, have it hard when it comes to dating and mating in relationships and just connections, social connections that a lot of you have. a lot of you Geminis think that, you know, if you make the social connections between yourselves and other people as light as you possibly can, then it would be better, because when you become too entangled in the emotions, this is where things get messy. And to a certain extent, you're actually right. You're right. And you understand this. And a lot of people really can't take that ruthlessness from you Geminis. But in actuality, you're really telling the truth. That's the secret, right? So another reason why it is that I love Gemini is because when a Gemini actually loves you, a Gemini is conscious enough to know where they are compared to the person that they are in a complicated relationship with. And if a Gemini does not feel up to par with the person that has has chosen up on them, or they have chosen up on that person, the Gemini more than likely will get out of their life. They will literally cease to exist in that person's life. Not because the Geminis are trying to insult that person, but actually quite the contrary. The Geminis are trying to make sure that their over playfulness and their desire to philander around and not take anybody seriously, that does not impact you. Especially when a Gemini really understands that, you love the Gemini, regardless of to who or what or whatever the situation is going on. A Gemini understands, right, that you really love this person, right? Angelina Jolie is another Gemini. I had a crush on Angelina Jolie ever since, I saw the movie Hackers, and Hackers came out in what, 99? When did Hackers come out? Okay, 95. Right, with Angelina Jolie. Right, Angelina Jolie is a Gemini. The person who plays Shaggy over here, my man's in them, is an Aquarius. Air signs, right? They have a relationship with one another, right? A friendship, right? Platonically. They don't see each other like that. But that's the point of where it is I'm talking about. Like, Geminis kind of have their own unique integrity that a lot of people kind of bash them for. And the thing with a Gemini is that what a lot of people really don't understand is that when a Gemini is bugging out, they want you to speak from your heart as to what exactly is going on that you don't like, and talk straight. Because sometimes the Gemini can be y'all can be a little bit tender-hearted yourselves, as opposed to saying what the situation is. Sometimes you Geminis want somebody brave enough to actually say what's going on in their heart, what's up with them, what exactly do they need, and be more straightforward about the situation. And that's neither here nor there as far as like when it comes to some people. But I love Geminis because how attractive physically a lot of y'all are. Like I said, Angelina Jolie just, Angelina, especially from the movie Hackers, like, you gotta understand, like, these are the types of movies that really shaped me coming up. I mean, look at that. It's beautiful, but that's the point of what it is that I'm trying to say. Like, very beautiful, and the thing about Gemini is, Geminis have the ability to think outside of themselves. But do the Geminis always do that? Not necessarily, but they do have the ability to be conscious. But the problem with the Gemini is that a lot of other people may not necessarily understand is how self-loathing the Gemini actually is to themselves. See, Mary Avengeropoulos, Avengeropoulos is a Gemini herself, right? Very beautiful, you know, very beautiful, very attractive, you know. We're not talking about physically ugly individuals, you know what I mean? And that's what it is I'm trying to say, though. Another reason why it is I love Gemini so much is because of the fact that Geminis are so witty with their jokes and ironic. You kind of need to be able to really have, you really need to be able to understand that a lot of Geminis mask their discomfort and their joy and their happiness in especially discomfort and disappointment and their pain and their sadness in sarcasm. So a lot of times Geminis, like I said before, they try to brighten up the mood. So a Gemini will be the type of person to ultimately try to brighten up the mood because they don't want other people to see them in pain. They don't want other people to see them in a position where they're messed up. The Geminis want individuals to actually be happy along with their day. But the Gemini also looks at it from a perspective of, well, if we're in pain and we just concentrating on the pain all day of it, we never actually going to really move on. So the Gemini wants to move on without having to go, without having to ruminate and spiral down this seemingly never-ending staircase of dysfunction and neuroticism, right? Going, continuing to spiral down over and over and over and over again without actually having any kind of real solution to it. So the Gemini just thinks to themselves, okay, well, we might as well just move forward. And this all culminates into what it is that I'm talking about, how it is that Geminis will ultimately move forward away from you if they don't think that they are good enough for you. They won't be in your life for the most part. They won't be in your life to try to mess it up or make it harder. They will try to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, they will exit your life when they really care for you. They will exit your life instead of being in your life and trying to make it seem like, they are healed or they are supposed to be there. So it's very much so quite a very, what it is that you looking at is not necessarily actually what it is that you are getting. What it is that you are looking at is really not what it is that you are really out here getting whatsoever. You think that you are getting at the surface of it. It's really a mind game for Gemini, really, for people who don't have the eyes to see. Because when you first look at a Gemini, all it is that you see is somebody like this person who's obviously, you know what I mean, very physically attractive, and for the ladies, Johnny Depp, but for me, you know what I'm saying, very physically attractive, but you would think that the person is stuck up. But their air signs, if you pay attention to the air signs have this long-term goal, this long-term plan of what they want you to put the pieces together as to who and what they are for you to be able to understand them a little bit better. But you're not going to be able to understand them at first glance because the way that the air signs come off like stuck-up jerks. You know what I'm saying? They come off like stuck up jerks, but and they do that, right? But then the more you know them and stuff like this is the more it's like you see, man, these people are really brokenhearted. These people really, they really got a lot to, help. They really got a lot to fix about themselves. Like, don't they're really trying to spare you. Don't pack it on by making the situation worse. So let's cap this off. So you start off the interaction with the Gemini thinking that, ultimately all it is that you're going to really get is a stuck up individual that thinks they know everything, that is intelligent, but they like to overturn and overspeak about things, especially when they have their beliefs. They don't like to come out of their beliefs. Whatever it is that they believe deeply, they don't take a whole lot seriously. But the things that they do believe deeply, they don't really do too much studying and venture off very much for them, for the most part, to really become, look at how beautiful that is, to really become educated on something. But then when you can get past that and you go, okay, let me actually take a second to really understand what this Gemini is about, because everybody has flaws. Then you start to see, like, okay, this Gemini has a lot of family issues. This Gemini doesn't want to cause any more disappointment and pain and dysfunction with you. They're messed up. The Gemini got a lot of issues with them, clearly. But if they rock with you, they are willing to change, not based off of you, but because they understand that they have these problems themselves and they're willing to change on their own. They're doing it for the both of you. They're doing it for themselves first and foremost, but the Geminis are doing it for you as well, but mostly for themselves. They want to be better for themselves. Then overall, you start to take a look at the Gemini and then you realize they're not as terrible or as stuck up or as disrespectful as they originally come off when you don't know them. That really ultimately is really a defense mechanism, like it is all the time. But that really is a defense mechanism, I've met some of the most beautiful, attractive Gemini people in my life who would go off on me basically, but it wasn't actually going off. They would be like, "You want to know something, Kareem?" in an angry manner. And I'm like, "What?" And I'm ready for the Gemini to break my heart, right? I'm ready for the Gemini to absolutely crush me. And the Gemini can do that because Gemini rules cruelty, right, when it's ready. But I'm ready for the Gemini to absolutely, with their words, completely rip me to shreds. This is the Gemini that I was talking to y'all about that I was in love with, right? Go back to my video, Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. Go ahead and check that video out. It's called Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. But the person didn't even rip me to shreds. The person was like, when I asked the person, what are you going to say? The person was just like, you know what? I'm going to. And that was that. And then I figured it out as time went on. Like, oh, I get it. The person was joking, But is there a degree of pain that comes along with Gemini? Absolutely there is. But like I said before, love and pain are in the same vein.